So, hello and welcome everybody to our I Am Conscious on the Go community call. I'm so happy to introduce our guest today, Dr. Arayeh Norouzi. She's a psychologist with a PhD focused on mindfulness, a joyful living coach, and the author of The Art of Living in Joy. So, Dr. Arayeh helps people and families move from fear and limitation into a state of freedom, flow, and presence. She beautifully blends science and spirituality, showing that real abundance is about having choice, not being stuck in lack or fear. So, today we'll talk about the science of abundance, what it truly means, how our minds and bodies shape it, and how we can create more fulfillment and joy in our daily lives. So, please join us in welcoming Dr. Rai to our community.
Hello,
Hello,
hi.
Araya. Thank you so much for coming.
Of
Hi.
course, my pleasure.
Yes, and we are having a super, super interesting topic today, and I believe so many people are interested in hearing about also your point of view and your insights and tips on abundance. But before we go into that, I'm sure we have many questions for you. Is there anything else that you would like to kind of add to my introduction or to the topic?
So the only thing that you mentioned at the beginning, I'm not a psychologist, which means I'm not a licensed therapist or psychologist, and that's by choice again, because I have a PhD in psychology, but I'm a life coach. I'm a conscious parent, certified conscious parent coach. I'm a joyful living expert, but I'm not a therapist, a licensed therapist. Although I use laser focused therapy in my sessions, but I'm not licensed as a therapist.
Okay, sure, sure. Thank you for that clarification. Thanks a lot. So, are we ready to dive in?
Me, I am always ready.
Actually, Araya, I love this topic so much. It's such a passion for me as well. So the first thing that I was wondering and thinking, I know it's very hard to say what abundance is, but I was thinking what maybe we need to explain a little bit. What does abundance truly mean to you or to us beyond wealth and success? Or where do we find this abundance?
Beautiful. What a great question. I actually give a workshop on abundance, and the first question is that what is the meaning of abundance? So it really is very personal, but to me, abundance means when you were reading the bio, it was actually ingrained in there. When I have a choice, I feel I have a choice. I'm not restricted. I can do whatever my heart desires to some level, because sometimes we think we need something, we want something, but truly we don't. So creating that choice on a moment to moment basis in our lives, that creates abundance and gives us that feeling of autonomy, that I have a choice. And autonomy is one of the buckets, one of the three buckets in that is a basic psychological need that needs to be full on a day-to-day basis, so the person feels intrinsically motivated and happy. So that creating that choice in this moment when I'm feeling icky or down, just ask myself, how can I, what choice do I have? How can I create a choice for myself to move forward? And that could be true in parenting case, it could be in a relationship case, it could be in a personal case, it could be in a money case or a health case, right? So even in health, for example, I have a toothache and I feel like such a victim that I don't feel the abundance. But if I have the toothache and I create an abundance, create a choice within my mind, then I don't feel so bogged down and so like a victim. So to me, abundance is having a choice and having that inner peace and equanimity, and just um, creating that space within me that I'm like, ah, I have arrived. And it's a moment to moment endeavor.
Yeah, I just so much love this definition of abundance. I think it's the first time I hear it in this way. Abundance is having a choice. And I think we all have a choice. And if I just continue the reasoning, if we all have a choice, we must all be abundant, right? We must all feel abundant. So what is happening? Why aren't we feeling abundant?
Beautiful. That's a good question. So let me just continue with the first one. So as you were talking, I'm like, if my abundance depends on what you do, or what happens on the outside, why ever feel abundant? Because control is an illusion. We have no control on the outside. We have no control over our children. We have no control over our partners or the government. So it's actually abundance is an inner job. It's an inside job, like joy, like everything else. So I have a section in my book. The title is "Oops, I demolished my remote control," which means I'm not going to give my remote control to my child or to my spouse or to the weather. Everything is an inner job, and the reason, answering your question, the reason that we don't have that moment to moment abundance in our life, because believe it or not, we're kind of like robots. We don't have a choice. We think we do. Uh, and until we do some inner work and understanding how the mind works, how we're kind of like robots, really programmed in childhood from 0 to 7, and whatever we do is coming as a defense mechanism, either to avoid pain or to attract pleasure or happiness, then we don't have a choice. But when we do this deep kind of work, and I know your audience, that they're all followers of Dr. Shefali, and by deep work, I mean Dr. Shefali's work, Dr. Gabor Mate's work. I'm not talking about like regular therapy. That's not deep work to me. Deep work is to understand that whatever is in my life, in any aspect, health, wealth, relationship, is here to tell me how I can heal my deep wounds. So until we do deep work, there is no choice. That's why when we start doing these works and little by little, I understand, oh, I have a choice. Right now, if my teenager says, I hate you, right? Instead of reacting, I have a choice. What else can I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the reason we are not feeling joyful, because I'm sorry, it's just hard truth. We are like robots. I remember Dr. Shafali once said we're zombies. That's really negative, but that's not, but it's just robots, zombies. It doesn't matter. That's why we don't have that dominion in our life, because we are just reactive. We are in a reactive mode all the time.
Yeah, sure. And I'm just guessing that of course many of our listeners, they understand that abundance comes in different ways, and it's of course financial abundance, material abundance, but also, all the other spiritual type of abundance and fulfillment. Uh, but what would you tell those people out there that would say to us, well, I understand all that. I understand I need to be grateful. I need to be thinking I have a choice and all of that. But what really worries me today is that I am so having difficulties financially, like really meeting the end, like making the ends meet and all of that. What would you tell those people?
Okay.
How to attract financial abundance?
Yeah, so if you want to really create a choice, we have to understand where we are. We should understand that robotic mechanism. So I always say we have to understand the trap in order to get out of it. So this is the hard truth, right? Whatever, as I said, in our life, whatever is in our life, it's a mirror reflection of what we are comfortable with. So if I want, on the surface, I want $1 million, and I have $1,000, really truly, deep, deep in our psyche, I am comfortable with $1,000. Having a lot of money might be unsafe, right? So I did a hypnosis on this, and it really felt unsafe to have a lot of money. So we are kind of comfortable with that level of money. So first we understand the trap. Oh, this is what I'm comfortable with. Let's understand it. This is hard truth. That's not, so it's not about feeling guilty and, oh my God, what am I doing with my, it's not about that. It's understanding the trap so we can get out of it. So we can little by little work on those neural pathways in our brain so we can change the deep, deep levels of our psyche. Because on the surface, we might be doing work, gratitude, all those things. But understanding the brain, let me tell you a very nice analogy about the brain. So there's this forest in our brain, okay, tons of trees, and we have this path that is very clear because there are no trees. I've taken it so much, and that's scarcity. It could be anger, it could be depression, it could be addiction, it could be any habit that we have. We have taken it so much, it's kind of short fused. All right. So by doing the work on a moment to moment basis, and that's the art of living in joy, that's the topic of my book, right? The art of living in joy is to become aware, oh, I'm taking that path, and not take it in that moment. So to create that, have those tools not to take that tool, and then go, okay, I'm going to cut. I'm sorry, imagine the trees are plastic. I'm cutting a tree in another and creating another path. So every time I do something different, I feel something different, I act something different, I'm cutting a new tree and creating a new neural pathway on a path in the forest of my brain. And I have to do this over and over again. So, for example, in my book, I have a system, and I ask my clients to do it at least 3 times a day. I'm not going to wait until my teenager says, I hate you, or my 2-year-old throws a tantrum, because I can't do it then. I have to practice. So every time I practice, I'm cutting these trees and I'm creating a new neural pathway in the forest of my brain. So little by little, this path becomes so clear. And when something happens, and because I haven't taken this path, or bushes are coming in this path, and I don't see the path anymore, it's not clear anymore, so I'm taking this one over and over again, right? So we have between 30,000 to 100,000 thoughts a day, okay? And I think one of the things that you didn't mention, my PhD is actually in mindfulness, right? So I'm a mindfulness expert, and it's all about the thoughts. Why is that? We have between 30,000 to 100,000 thoughts a day. Why are thoughts important? Because every thought leads to a feeling, and every feeling leads to a behavior. I don't know if you see this flipped or
Yes,
not.
it's
Thought,
very well.
feeling, behavior. So everything originates in the thought. So when I become aware of those thoughts that are deeply, deeply layered and buried in the psyche of my mind, and that's why meditation is important, that's why mindfulness is important, so I become aware of it, and then I can flip them, I can give them antidote. So every time I do that, the feeling changes and the behavior changes, and I'm creating a new path, and I'm cutting a tree, and I'm cutting a tree, and I'm creating this pathway. So again, the first step is to understand we have no choice. I'm taking that path, that, oh, there's not enough money, or it's hard, or we think about the how with our small mind. How is gonna the next client will come? Well, it will come. The fact of the matter is, in the quantum science field, that's why I ingrained a lot, whatever is in here, whatever we believe, truly believe, it's just a mirror reflection on the outside. It's like I look at the mirror and I want the mirror to smile, and I'm not smiling. That's not even possible. I have to smile first to see the reflection on the mirror. Does that make sense? So our life, this is a hard truth. Our life is a mirror reflection of what we truly, truly, truly believe, feel. So on the surface, it could be one thing, but deep level, it's not. So that's why the outside, or our children, our spouses, our bosses, they become our teachers. They say, oh, this is what's going on inside of you. Look at it. Because it's hard to see inside, right? So that's why the outside is like a mirror. Oh, this is what's going on. If I'm
Yeah.
bothered by my child, for example, and she's frustrated, oh, and I'm getting bothered, oh, there's a wound in me, right? It's revealing the beliefs about me. So that's how they become our teachers. That's why we talk about conscious parenting that way. Our children are our teachers, mainly.
Yes. Yes, beautiful, beautiful. And I just have a little follow-up question related to that one. If I just go to the other extreme, where there are many people who have plenty of financial success, and they're very financially successful and abundant in that sense, uh, but they might not feel, how to say, fully fulfilled or abundant inside. Where do you think this comes from?
Yeah, so that's another wonderful question, because honestly, we don't know how to feel happy as human race. The same way we don't know how to feel sad, we don't know how to feel angry, we just act out. So, and joy, as Brené Brown, I think she says, is the most foreboding feeling. We don't know how to feel abundant inside. So maybe on the outside, as you said, is abundant, but inside the person doesn't feel abundant. And it's like very It's all of us. Maybe just the monks in the mountains, they know how to feel really joyful inside. And we can do that too, but by practice, as I said, to come to the moment, to this moment, like even if everything is in a very miserable situation. I had a client who had stage 4 cancer, a big tumor in her brain, in such a way that her eyes were crossed. The tumor was so big. She had a 3-year-old. She was very young, and she passed away a couple of years ago. But you know what she told me? She said, cancer is the best thing that happened to me. So what's worse than cancer? Terminal cancer, right? But that shows that nothing on the outside can affect what's going on between my ears. And to be honest, the only real thing and the only real time is what's going on between my ears in this moment, because past is gone, future is not here. So if I can create that map, like use that map and create that inner equanimity, inner abundance, inner joy in this moment, regardless of what's going on the outside, I win. If not, I don't want to say I lose because there isn't the next moment, but that's what's going on. That's the policy of life in this moment. But what's going on with us is just all those worries about the future, or that person who doesn't know how to have that inner love, inner joy within themselves, although they have a lot of money. Same thing. It's all the same. Everything is the same. It all boils down to what's going on between my ears in this moment. That's the only real thing. Everything else is an illusion, as Hindus call it, Maya. Maya is an illusion. So we have to really use that map to create that inner abundance moment to moment, regardless of what's going on the outside. And little by little, it takes a little bit of time, maybe, or maybe it doesn't. Then the outside gets, the effect of it. So the mirror will show me the smile, because there's a little bit of delay sometimes because we are not so good at it, but we have to get good at it. Yes.
Yeah. So
Arayeh, I have the following question for you. I want to bring the conversation a little bit to the beginning, because when you were explaining about abundance, I heard you speaking a few times the word victim. And when you're talking about pathways, I think this is a very important pathway that people need to break. So can you speak a little bit about it? Because I think many of us struggle and get trapped into this pathway.
Yes. I want to tell you, I don't want to be pessimistic, but what is
Mm-hmm.
going on, we're always like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a parable, I have it in the book too. So there was this dog that was sighing and moaning, right? And the person comes to the owner and says, why is your dog sighing and moaning like that? He says, he's sitting on a nail. And the guy asks, why doesn't he move? He says, he's not hurt enough. And that is us. We are not hurt enough, but we are just addicted to pain. And there will be a time where, like, really horrible divorce, or really, bankruptcy, or something like that, really bad disease, there's like, oh, enough. You want to get hurt so much that we want to change. But honestly, we are always feeling like a victim inside, and it's not conscious, but inside. Oh, poor me. And all goes back to that inner child. I have like a little prop. My daughter made this. We have this inner child within us that is never, ever, ever feeling joyful. It's feeling like I'm not good enough. I'm a bad girl. I'm a bad boy. We should understand that that's always the case. So learning how to take care of this part of the brain is literally a part of the brain, and talk to that part of the brain so we can create a new neural pathway. Yes. So unfortunately, that's the case. They're all like that. We, even if on the surface we think we are not, still there are so many levels that we might, and that's why we are not like Jesus or Buddha. We still get triggered. We still go down because there are still these wounds. But every time this happens, we are like, hey, yeah, let's another opportunity. Let's just attend to the inner child and create a new neural pathway. So everything becomes an opportunity rather than a problem. Everything, literally everything, is just the mirror showing me, ah, you have work to do here. Ah, you have work to do here. So when we shift that perspective, I'm not a victim anymore. So little by little, I'm getting out of that victimhood. Like, oh, so it's not about guilt. Oh, I'm creating this. No, it's a co-creation, and this is quantum science. This is not. I don't want anyone to believe this. This is quantum science. I've done so much research on this, and I can even explain how how it works in a quantum level, if you like.
Yes, of course.
That would be
Sure.
great because we called
Sure.
it the science
Yes.
of abundance. Yeah.
Love it. So, I actually studied physics. So I'm an engineer. So I have a master's degree in engineering. So that's why I'm using a lot of science. And whatever I say, it's not based on belief. It's really scientific or experiential, right? Like mainstream science or experiential. And the word spirituality to me is still science, because the mainstream science has a long way to go. It's so behind. We don't know. We probably know 1% of what's going on in the world in a mainstream science. So quantum science, where it's 100-year-old science, even the scientists don't get it. It's a very hard concept. Okay, so I'm gonna just boil it down to very, very simple words. Okay, so quantum is about so everything, there's nothing solid. First of all, everything is energy. They're like little energy packets. Okay, Nikola Tesla says if you want to understand the world, just think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, right? So the next moment, because of there's tons of probability, the next moment, even this moment and the next moment, I have billions of probability. I could even die, or I could fly. It's possible. For example, I was driving here and this house was crumbled down. I'm like, what happened? So this car, drunk driving, flew into this house. My daughter's friend was on the bed. He got pinned to the wall. He's okay. He got pinned to the wall, but he could be dead. So the next moment, billions of things could happen. So there's a pool of possibilities for the next moment, right? So let's call that the fifth dimension, just for the sake of it. Like in the fifth dimension, we have billions of probabilities, right? So the fourth dimension is our beliefs and our feelings, right? So if deep in my psyche, I'm not comfortable with money, for example, like I can't, for example, I myself, I've been working on this so much, but I can't really visualize that I'm rich because I've never lived that way, right? I'm not saying it's not possible, but we have to work on it, right? Or I would think, oh, money is hard to come by. Or I would think, if I get rich, then rich people are stingy, or they're shallow. Or for example, in my case, I would think if I have a lot of money, I really need to help other people. So it's not, I would feel guilty if I have a big house, for example, right? So all these beliefs and emotions that we have from childhood are in the fourth dimension. Okay, so now we have the third dimension, which is now, you and I. So according to my beliefs in the fourth dimension, I'm picking a probability from the fifth dimension.
So
and then
from
it
the
gets
third way
manifested
to
in the third
fifth,
What's that?
from the third way picking the fifth,
From the fourth, from the
the fourth,
feelings,
from the
according
feelings.
to our feelings and beliefs, we are picking a probability from the fifth dimension, and then we manifest it in third dimension. Do you see? So there are probability. If you watch the movie Matrix, I think it's the second one. There are like many TVs. Have you watched that?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so there are many TVs. So there are many possibilities for the next moment for him to talk a word, and then he would pick one of these probabilities according what his current state, beliefs, emotions, right? So we are picking. So the probability is there. I could fly the next moment, but the reason I can't, because I don't believe I can. So I can't pick it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So on the surface, I do believe I can actually appear a red Ferrari in the house. I do believe that scientifically, quantum scientifically. But my inner beliefs doesn't let me. So that's why I can't do it. So now we want to pick small things. For example, for the people who want to really manifest, we want to pick things that you are comfortable with. And then if you can actually embody it, at least in your thoughts and your emotions, in your imagination. If you can't embodied in our imagination, we can't pick it because it's not a vibrational match. Everything is vibration, as I said. There's nothing good, nothing bad, as Rumi says, out beyond the right doing and the wrong doing. There is a field. I meet you there. There's no good or bad. There's only vibration. There's only frequency, right? You probably have seen the Dr. What's his name? I always forget his name from the book Power versus Force. So like there's this like inverted triangle where shame is at the bottom, very low frequency, very low frequency. The anger is a little bit higher. You see, they're like levels, and then love is really high frequency. Joy is really high frequency. So we want to just traverse this inverted triangle, transmute the feelings, not suppress them. By the way, when we have feelings, if you feel the core energy of each feeling, it transmutes, and maximum duration is only 90 seconds, right? And we think feelings are here to stay, we escape them, and that's why we get depressed, because we don't feel our sadness with our grief, right? Or that's why we get to rage. We curse, we shut the door, because we don't pause to create the anger within us, right? So when we are feeling and transmuting these feelings, and we go to love and joy, there are like high frequencies, right? So in that, how does the quantum work? Is the law of attraction, right? So think of it this way, like you're in the car and you put 101.7 in the radio station, and you're hearing that station, and you can't hear 106.5 because it's another station. I'm not hearing it, I'm not receiving it. So the same way with quantum. So if my feelings about the red Ferrari, if the vibration is really high, I will attract it from the fifth dimension. But the reason I can't, because I'm not in the same frequency. It doesn't match. And again, law of attraction, completely scientific. You can Google tuning fork law of attraction to see. Actually, I could actually share it with you right now, but we can't. Probably you can.
What was that? Tuning fork?
Tuning fork. Yeah. I can share it. Do you want to do that?
We could.
I just wanted to add, Arayeh, that's why victimhood for me it's so important for people to move and to shift from that energy, because I believe this is also very slow energy, and we cannot pick from those abundant choices when we are in victimhood.
Absolutely. And understanding that victim, again, look at everything scientific. It's just frequency. It's just frequency. So if I'm in the frequency of guilt or shame or victimhood, right? So I'm going to attract the same thing. My kids will be the same. The money, the bank account will be the same. I'm attracting that vibration because that's what I'm comfortable with. That's the deeper layer of my psyche.
And go ahead, Dana.
Just a very quick reflection, just to reframe what I heard from you just now, and also in the beginning of the talk, is that we get what we are comfortable with.
Yes, exactly. We are comfortable. Like, close your eyes. If you want anything, just see, are you comfortable with that? Probably not. It's scary. If you want, even like, for example, and it's very, again, convoluted, because we're kind of like robots. We say, if you have an alcoholic parent, had an alcoholic parent, you're going to marry an alcoholic, because deep in our psyche, that's what we're comfortable with. It's familiar to the brain.
What we know, and we're comfortable with what we know, so we get what we know.
Exactly. We are comfortable, because if you don't know, that's scary. That's scary. How can I deal with it when I have no knowledge about it, no practice? Let me see if I can share.
This was exactly that I wanted to share, that when we don't know it, we don't see it in the world. Our brain doesn't understand that there is something like this even existing.
Exactly. It's not familiar. Exactly. So I hope this is, because it's so important to see it really scientifically. So these are called tuning forks. So one of them is 440 hertz, okay, and the small one with with his hand, it's not the same frequency, so the ball doesn't move. And then he brings the same frequency, the ball moves because that one shakes. So different frequency doesn't shake. Same frequency.
Wow.
You see? It's shaking. It's moving the ball. So law of attraction, completely scientific. So if we look at everything scientifically, I know it sounds a little bit, maybe mundane. Now that I'm here, I want to show you this one too, the quantum. There are like 500 pages here. Oh, here. So this is the 5D quantum field of possibilities. Do you see X's? There are different possibilities. And according to 4D, my subconscious core beliefs, I'm picking the red X. And then I'm manifesting it on 3D.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the simplest way of understanding quantum science.
Yeah. So one question maybe, Dr. Ray, here to this picture, and also this, how you explained this is the fifth dimension and the fourth dimension, the third dimension. Where does this kind of framework come from? Is it from the quantum field science, or where
Yes,
does it
it's
come
all
from?
quantum science.
All
Again, don't
quantum.
be really picky about the dimensions, but that's how the world works. That's how the quantum science works. That there is a possibility for the next moment at all times, right? And then we pick that possibility according to what I'm comfortable with, according what's underneath my psyche. So
Yeah.
if I'm getting a very nasty attitude from my child, right? I have to do the system in my book, or do the Dr. Shafali's work, or do the PAUSC, it's a 5-step system in my book, to understand which wound it is. For example, I feel powerless. Maybe deep, the reason I'm getting frustrated is because, how about me? I feel out of control. So that's the inner child who's feeling that way. So I have to do the work, take care of the inner child. Literally, we have to do this. Talk to the inner child out loud. I know it sounds cuckoo, but we have to do it. This is where deep healing happens. Everything is okay. You don't have to worry. You have all the control. Don't worry about it. I love you. I see you. Because when we are frustrated about something, I'm not being seen, right? So I'm going to see myself. I'm going to reparent that little child in me. And that's the work of Dr. Shafali, reparenting the inner child, because this little person is being re traumatized over, an old wound has been poked in me. So I'm going to reparent the inner child. Now I'm not triggered by the child anymore. Now I can see the real child, see what's going on. So before I stop sharing, this is what I talked about from the book Power versus Force. You've probably seen this. So these are the frequencies. They're not hertz, but they're from muscle testing. So shame is at the bottom, guilt, apathy, fear. You see, so they all go higher and higher until we get to love, which is anything below love is duality. I'm good, you're bad. How about me, the wounded inner child, the 3D world. And then when we get to love, joy, and peace and enlightenment, it's actually unity. We are all one, because we are, according to Big Bang, we all came from Big Bang, and we all one. There's nothing outside of us, as I said. Everything is just a reflection of us. And this is kind of spooky. I cannot prove it to you scientifically. Just take my word for it, because I've experienced it. So through an experience, I know this is true, and through all, reading the quantum science. And so that I need a little bit of trust from people when I go to this path. Although little by little people will notice, oh, say thank you. If someone slaps me, oh, thank you. I got triggered. Then we are
What is
not a
what is a little test that we can all do tomorrow? Little test for the quantum science.
You want to do a test?
Yeah.
Um, It depends on your level of, belief and, all those things, and do little things. For example, they say for manifestation, they say start with finding a parking spot,
Mm.
right? Just you're like, ah. So when you get to the, ah, because I can't say good or bad, right? Like, ah, all is well. I'm like water. This is just a Maya. What is real is what's going on between my ears. The story I tell myself. It's all stories. As I said, we have between 30,000 to 100,000 thoughts a day. Most of them are negative. This is science. 86% is negative, which I believe is 100% negative, but that's just science. 95% is repetitive. That's science. 95% is repetitive from the day before. But I do believe we are mostly negative, and we call them ants, automatic negative thoughts. And I have this little prop. I take it everywhere, show it everywhere. This is what's going on in our brain. So anytime you're down, we need to find that ant. Something is bothering us. So I have this practice for my clients and my students. I call it joy exercise. Throughout the day, 3 times a day, ask yourself from 0 to 10, 10 being the most joyful, where am I? If I'm not a 10, I lose, because this is the only moment and I'm not living it in joy, in abundance. And then we should ask ourselves, what is blocking me from that? Find one and then massage it, see what's going on. Give an antidote. Is it actually true? Which is, by the way, probably not. Because most of these ants, most of them are lies. I want to say all of them. I really want to say all of them. And that's what Buddha says, right? The root of suffering is not understanding the reality, because we don't see the reality, and that's why we suffer. So we have to find the perspectives, because the brain is wired for negativity, always finding the worst case scenario. So now, as adult people, right, we want to create a new neural pathway in our brain. Let me find other reasons, right? It's always, always, always a lie that his brain is telling us. I'm not saying most of the time. I want to say all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that way, when I find the ant, the automatic negative thought, then I can pull myself up to 10. And that's the joy. And the more I do this, the more it's accessible to me. Right? Let's just do it. Let's just do it right now. Just close your eyes from 0 to 10, 10 being the most joyful. Do you even remember when was your most joyful? Like, we don't even remember that. When were you your happiest? When can you find that? It's hard for people who haven't done work. It's really hard. So give a number. What's your number?
For this moment?
Yeah.
7.
How about you?
9.
9. So ask yourself, what is blocking me from 10 right now? Just ask. Close your eyes. Ask. Do you want to share?
Yeah.
Yeah, Diana, go ahead, because my thoughts are
Because
going
I gave
in
you
a
7.
different.
Yeah.
I
So
go in a different direction.
what I had in my mind is like, because we're having this beautiful, super interesting conversation, and I wish I can stay here even over the hour. But I know exactly at 7 o'clock I need to leave it. And I had this like, damn, this is so interesting. And I have this kind of a little voice in my head that don't forget to pay attention to the time, that we don't, you know. So that is, I think, this kind of agenda type of at the moment, at
So
the
how
what
many minutes is that? Is it like 20 minutes?
we
Yeah.
have 18 minutes exactly.
So 18 minutes is such a long time.
Exactly, I
You are
know.
ruining this moment. Do you see? You're ruining this
Yeah, but
moment.
we do this all the time, isn't it?
Exactly. So you're ruining this moment for something, even if, like, I don't know what's happening, unless you have a flight to catch. Like, it's not an emergency either, but you have 18 minutes. That's a long time. And
Yes.
you're actually losing this moment for a thought about the future that is not even here. And it's not even,
Exactly.
might not be even important, right?
And It's a beautiful example, right? Because we are often, at least, I can be often in this type of a, if I have a packed agenda, I can be in this type of a, and then we are not in the present moment, as you're saying.
Exactly. And you lost because the only real moment, can you show me past? Past is gone. Can you show me future? It's not here.
Yes,
Really, they don't exist.
yes,
The
yes.
only real moment is this moment.
Yeah,
And the only real thing is what's going on between your ears. Like,
exactly.
I'm not even here. I'm behind your retina.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
in you. I don't exist.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
it's
see?
beautiful. It's a beautiful example. And I did not think, I just made myself really kind of blurt out whatever came to my mind as a number. I did not overthinking. So when you asked it, I was like 7. It
Yeah,
just came
that's
out.
good. I don't want you to think. I don't want you to think. So the numbers should be really fast, between 0 to 5 seconds, right? So let's do this practice. So just close your eyes, and I want you to, I'm sure that that is all gone, but if there's something that you haven't massaged it, just put it on a tray and take a deep breath through your heart. Put your hands on your heart, and then say, I'm going to give myself permission to get to 10. Just say that. Say, this moment is the only real moment. Joy is my birthright. I'm going to get to the most joyful. Anything bothers you, put it on a tray. Say, I'll get back to you. Just pull yourself up. Really pull yourself up. And if you don't have a smile, which you should, if you don't, put a smile on your face. Because when we smile, our brain thinks we are happy. It's a mutual relationship. So put a smile, deep breath to the heart, use your whole body, pull yourself up to 10. And this joy could be equanimity, it could be like, it could be abundance, it could be just, I am. It could be like, I don't even exist. We want to get to that place because that's the reality. We don't have a name, we don't have a gender, we just are. We're part of this existence, beautiful, intelligent existence. We're connected to the entirety of the universe. This body is just a little child's game. That's not us. So maybe you can use this state, or maybe you can use, I don't know, remembering hugging your child or kissing your partner, whatever. Just pull yourself up to 10. Do some gratitude, but pull yourself get it to 10, and don't let it go. That's it. See, the more you stay, the more you're cutting the trees. Don't let it go, because the ant will come, say, oh, this is boring. Let's talk about something else. Let's think about something else. But keep it. Keep that 10. Keep your smile. And I want you to come up with a mantra or a phrase for this beautiful state and repeat it in your mind. Remember, this is science. You're cutting more trees in this path. Just come up with a beautiful mantra like, I am love, or mine is like, all is well at all times. Or even, I'm a 10. When I say I'm a 10, I get to there. So the more you do this, so keep repeating. And when you do this for 2 weeks, 3 times a day, you're actually creating a really good pathway in your brain. So keep it, don't let it go. And I want you to slowly open your eyes, but keep it. Slowly open your eyes, keep the smile, keep the 10, and keep the mantra. This is hard. Keep it with your open eyes. Keep it. Keep it, keep it. Keep it. Keep it. See, this is how we are cutting the trees here.
I love it. I love it because I managed to get to 10. I really felt it. And when you asked about the mantra, I had being is beautiful.
Yes, love it, love it, love it. How about you? What was your mantra?
It's yeah, there are two very interesting things that happened because I have it's super interesting, Araya. I don't know your science. I know a lot about quantum physics, but I don't know exactly what you're teaching. But it's super interesting because I have this picture in my head. It's from somewhere from before, and it's a beautiful rose garden. And I always have it in, I was there, but I always, it's super interesting because I keep having it all the time in me from childhood. And yeah, it's so interesting now to understand what is keeping me in abundance. And the other thing that I felt was also very interesting. It was, I heard before about the negative thoughts, the signs that we have so many, but I never made the connection before, because when I was a child, I don't know how old I was, but I kind of recognized that it's super simple to have those negative thoughts. I could see like all adults or children. So I've been always on the mission to find out what is the positive thought in this situation. And it was super interesting to listen to you before, because this is probably why it's so easy for me to connect to abundance, because of course, I have my heart moments, and of course, at some point you briefly disconnect, but immediately I'm like, but what is the positive? What can we win here? What is the good thing in this? And I think the more we work on that, the more we connect to abundance and the more choice we have.
The more trees
Yeah.
we cutting. So that we are
Mhm.
creating. So that's
Yeah.
neuroscience.
So I seem to be cutting those trees without knowing, but this is something that I have very, very deep inside me from even
Beautiful.
even before first grade. I was like very little, but for me it was super interesting. I was super curious. What is the good thing in this situation?
I love it. Here's the thing. Right now, if I ask you to name million things that are going right, we
Mm-hmm.
can't do that, right? Our heart is beating. There's no tsunami. We have food in the fridge. We have our health. Million things. Million
Mm-hmm.
things. But does the brain think of them? Focus on them? No. The brain is gonna think, oh, in 10 minutes I have to leave.
But I believe that the brain is, we can teach the brain. It's
Yes,
trainable.
that's what we're doing. Exactly. So this
Yeah.
is the primitive part of the brain. It's a protective brain. Let me tell you this. So imagine a president wants to give a talk, okay, outside. And the bodyguard comes and checks all these places, for example, these little corners right there. And he would think, oh, maybe a sniper will go there, put a guard there. That's our brain.
Mm-hmm.
Always. And I don't know if it's scientific or not, but I've read it somewhere that our brain monitors our surrounding 5 times per second for possible threats. So it's mechanism. It's a primitive mechanism. But right now we don't have real emergencies. Really, the only real emergency, if you have a child wants to touch the hot stove, yeah, that's a real emergency. Or wants to jump into the street, yes, that's a real emergency. Or if a car wants to cut you, like you have to be fast, that's a real emergency. There is no real emergency. Very few real emergencies. But the brain thinks everything is an emergency. It's like a life or death. It literally is life or death. Why? Because that part of the brain of the inner child, it's still there. When we are two, it was a life or death. Literally, because you're very little, you have no, protection. Your only protection is your parents. And if your parent, for example, yelled or frowned at you, it was a life or death. So that part of the brain is growing up with us. A 90-year-old still has that part of the brain. So we have to, on a moment to moment basis, that's the art of living in joy. We have to become aware, and these trigger points, the problems, are good reminders. Or checking with yourself, what's blocking me? Find the ant and do the PAUSE on the ant and pull yourself up to 10. I call this a joy sandwich. And you're creating a new pathway in your brain more and more. And it's not easy. It's not like, okay, I turn on the light and it's going to stay on. It's going to go out and I'm going to use my tools, turn it on again. So we're going to turn on the light faster and keep it on longer. That's the goal. You just forget about, for those of us who are doing the work and like, oh, I've done so much work. I've been to meditation. I'm meditating. Why is it not happening? That's what's pulling you down. You say, you know what? You just say, oops, I'm human. I'm rewiring decades of fear-based programming and then get back on track. Because, that by itself will pull us down. Yeah.
Well, we are negative biased, like
Ah,
you were saying. So we were just wired like that from the.
exactly. But we can rewire.
And we can
We
rewire.
are rewiring. Yes, we are rewiring. So that's what we are doing. So that's why I said we understand the trap. Now we get out of it. That's what we do. So we have to understand we are a robot, we are a zombie, as Dr. Shefali says. We have to understand we are negatively biased. We have to understand we are regurgitating these fear-based programs from childhood. Understand it first. And now, what's the tool? Let me just rewire. That's the map. That's the art of living in joy.
That's real abundance. Love it.
Yes,
And
this
it's
moment.
possible.
It doesn't
Yes.
matter if anything happens, whatever happens.
Yeah. And it is just possible because if I was able, when you were guiding us to close the eyes and, go to 10, if I was able to go from 7 to 10, I'm able to do this every single moment in my life.
Absolutely.
Remember to do it.
Exactly. That's why I
It's
say we need to do
possible.
it 3 to 5 times a day at least.
Yeah.
One in the morning, one at night, one in the middle of the day. So it becomes a habit. It's habit building. So it's possible to do it over and over again.
And it's our control.
Yes,
And
exactly.
we can have it, right? So we just
Beautiful.
learned the science of abundance. We learned how to do it.
Yes, exactly. I want to bring a very quick example to just make it work as you were talking about, like a positive perspective, because the fourth step of PAUSC is S, search for different perspective. Let me just do a review. So the first step is bringing out the fight to flight out of line and bring the smart brain online. So this is a spinal cord, this is a fight or flight at the back of the brain, and these four fingers are the smart brain. When we are triggered, we flip the lid. So we need to do our breathing, we need to do our mindfulness, we need to do our shaking, going out, whatever, taking a shower to bring out this smart brain and specifically separate yourself from the situation if you can. So that's the first step. The second step is all about feelings, and we talked about it a little bit. So A is accept the as is and feel your feelings. So we do some emotional literacy. The third step is understand thoughts and triggers. Understand whenever I'm triggered, this little guy is triggered or gal. So what do I do with her? Take care of her, talk to her. Okay. So that's the onion exercise that Dr. Shefali talks about. The fourth step, so the first three is taking care of me. Now I see another perspective. Search for different perspective. Here we try to find positive, neutral perspective because the brain is negatively biased, always picks the worst one, sticks with it. So I have to find other perspectives. And the last one is eliminate fear. E, eliminate fear, proceed with love and compassionate boundaries. So now we can do the action. People don't, so we need to do 4 things in order to do boundary, but people put boundaries right away. And that's not good, right? So the boundary comes at the end. So I had a client from Toronto. Her husband was abusive. So I was talking to her, kind of empowering her, you can leave, blah, blah, blah. Not like that, but you know what I'm saying. So she leaves a voice message and she says, thank you for, the sessions. I think we're good to go and bye, something like that. I'm like, oh my God, maybe her ego couldn't take it. I shouldn't have been so, frank with her, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, uh-oh, that's an ant. Let me find a positive. Maybe she didn't send that voice to me at all. Maybe it was a mistake. So I just said, was this meant for me? And she said, oh my God, that was for my business coach. That's it. This is always the case. Always find a positive or a neutral perspective in every situation. That comes the fourth step, though. So we shouldn't lose the opportunity to take care of this little person so we can heal so things won't repeat. Because the way we do one thing, we do everything, right? If I don't heal my little child, when my friend says something, it's going to come up with a boss. It's going to come up with a child. It's usually the same wound. So we have to take care of the inner child so that we can see now other perspectives and move forward with consciousness. We have 3 minutes.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm
for
done.
those minutes, I want you, Arayeh, to tell people where they can find you because I think that's important, very important for all of them.
Oh, sure. So drarayeh.com, DRARAYEH. com. You can make free 30-minute consultation with me to see if I can help you. And also my social media anchor is here at Dr. Arayeh everywhere on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere. And then on Amazon, The Art of Living in Joy is there. All the Audible is also there. I highly recommend getting both because there are, exercises in here that you can feel, but Audible is a very professionally made Audible. It's good for brain rewiring. So I highly recommend both at the same time. And then what else? I'm everywhere on social media. I'm actually creating a certification program. I'm going to teach this so people can actually teach it to other people. That's not come up yet, but that will be on my social media and everywhere. And also on Sunday, I have a self-worth workshop. If this is up, people can, sign up for that. And yeah, I'm everywhere. This is my passion.
Beautiful.
Thank
Thank you so much. And the Audible book is really good. I actually have been listening to your I have been listening to the audio of your book, so I can testify to that. And thank you so much for coming and for sharing all of these golden tips and nuggets for all of us, so we can start implementing as from
Yeah,
now.
this moment.
Yeah, it was an amazing hour, but you people, you can make it like much more.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you, both of you.
Once again, thank you so much.
Of course, bye.
Bye. Bye. Lovely.